It's no secret that Big has had some big influence in the lives he's touched. Some of the biggest waves in Carrie's life have revolved around Paris via Big and Alexander. I couldn't help but wonder, what would have happened if Big stayed in Paris and never came back to New York? Hello there and welcome to my channel where I analyze and talk about TV shows that I like. Around here, the curtain is blue for a reason. There's always a reason. Let's discuss. I think we can split up this conversation to have a look at how Carrie's life would have turned out and how Natasha's life would have turned out. For now, we'll focus on Carrie and we'll get to Natasha in a bit. Throughout season 1 and 2, Big and Carrie were on again and off again. He doesn't introduce Carrie to his mother, she asks him to say that she's the one and he doesn't. She says I love you and he's weird about it. She doesn't fit into his social circles. There were a lot of ups and downs in just the first 2 seasons, and it all exploded in season 2 episode 12, when Big abruptly tells Carrie that he's moving to Paris, leading to an explosion of an argument and McDonald's flying in the air. The relationship ends with Carrie feeling as though Big cannot factor her into his life whatsoever. Why is it so hard for you to factor me into your life in any real way? I guess old habits die hard. Maybe I can't do this anymore. Big flies to Paris and meets Natasha, becomes engaged, and marries her. Meanwhile, Carrie meets Aiden and they start dating in season 3 episode 5, no ifs, ands, or buts. Now, although they had some issues here and there, like Aiden not liking Carrie smoking and Carrie having a hard time believing in the sincerity of Aiden, their biggest issue was when Carrie was cheating on Aiden with Big. But if Big stays in Paris with Natasha, or at least never comes back to New York, would Carrie and Aiden have worked out? Carrie would probably still smoke here and there and keep getting caught, and when they eventually move in together, they probably would still fight about where all of their belongings should go, especially since the closet is pretty much occupied with all of Carrie's belongings and doesn't leave much room for Aiden. Generally, things were going smoothly between Aiden and Carrie, all the way up until season 3 episode 8, The Big Time, where Carrie runs into Big, who is now married to Natasha, and he states that he misses her and can't stop thinking about her. Hey, Carrie, I'm here on your corner. I know you're home. Pick up. Well, I miss you. I can't stop thinking about you. There, you have it. There it was. Exactly what I had needed to hear a year too late. I should have been happy, but I wasn't. It was the absolute worst timing of all. In season 3, episode 9, Easy Come Easy Go, Big tells Carrie that he's leaving Natasha. I have a secret to tell you. It's not working. I'm getting out. If you know anyone who's interested, you should keep that to yourself. No one is interested in that information. Although Carrie tells the girls that she doesn't care at all and she's not going to do anything about it, a seed was planted. This is the wedge that begins to drive apart Carrie and Aiden. She knows that there is still a chance with Big and she's not ready to close that door forever. If we take Big out of this equation, we can assume that Carrie and Aiden will move in together and at least get engaged. Let's face it, that already happened with an affair with Big and with a breakup of about 6 months. When Carrie and Aiden were together the second time around, Aiden struggled with his feelings of resentment, and Carrie never felt ready to actually take the engagement seriously. All of that is moot if Big is out of the picture completely. In season 5 episode 1, Anchors Away, Charlotte says this at the brunch table. Everyone knows you only get 2 great loves in your life. That phrase, great love, what does it even mean? It means a love that changes you, that shakes you to your core, after which you're never the same. Seriously, there is not an unlimited amount of love in the world. It's rare. Later, Carrie says to Miranda, maybe Aiden and Big are my 2 great loves now, but that doesn't mean that I'm always going to feel that way about them. Whatever Carrie says, we can see the evidence. Throughout the entire show, and the movies, and the newest show, and just like that, it has always been Big or Aiden. Everybody in between is just filler or a rebound. And Aiden wasn't just a rebound for Carrie after Big. This was one of her great loves. He continues to be one of the great loves of her life even after Carrie and Big get married, because in the second movie, she runs into Aiden in Abu Dhabi, who is married and has 3 kids, and after a romantic dinner together, they end up kissing. If it's Big versus Aiden, she will ultimately always pick Big, but that doesn't mean Aiden doesn't have a chance. I think Carrie and Aiden could have gone all the way to the point where they got married. In the first movie, Carrie, at first, made it seem like she wasn't that into being a bride. She picked out a white suit that she was just okay with and didn't really get excited about the wedding. It wasn't until she was offered a chance to do a photo shoot where she wore a few bridal gowns and then she was later gifted a wedding dress. This is when she became really excited to have a wedding. I bet that after Carrie and Aiden got engaged and Big is absolutely out of the picture and out of the question, Carrie might still have hesitated or been reluctant to actually get married, but once she tried on a few dresses, I think she would have gotten excited. Now, in season 4, episode 15, Change of a Dress, she does actually try on some dresses when she's engaged to Aiden, and she has a panic attack. But again, I believe this is because subconsciously, she knows that she still wants Big, and she knows that eventually they will find their way back to each other. The biggest hurdle I see between Carrie and Aiden would be the topic of children. When Aiden married Kathy in the show, we learned that he has 3 sons, and in the new show, and just like that, he absolutely loves those kids. In season 6, episode 15, Carrie has this conversation with Alexander. Have you ever thought about having children? I have one. How about you? You never wanted children? No, I've always thought that I might. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And when are you planning to do this? How old are you? 38? I felt like I was just shot with a 38. In the show, we never see Aiden and Carrie actually talking about kids together, even after being engaged. We never see them talking about where they would like to live for the rest of their lives or if they should leave New York. And just like that, we know that Aiden has been living in Virginia for years, but we know that Carrie absolutely adores New York. Besides just common sense, we know for a fact that Carrie loves New York because of season 4, episode 18, I Heart New York, where she tries to convince Big to not move to Napa because New York is just so amazing. Then in the following episode, season 5, episode 1, Anchors Away, she talks about her relationship with New York City and how you're never alone in New York and that she's been dating New York for 18 years. Would she ever want to move away? She always seemed downright miserable when she was at Aiden's cabin, but she was trying. Ultimately, one of them was going to have to compromise. Would Aiden decide to not have kids and stay in New York with Carrie for the rest of his life? Would Carrie decide to have kids and maybe move out of New York? Would they have stayed married? I honestly don't think so. I think if Big stayed in Paris and never contacted Carrie again, Carrie would continue dating Aiden, get engaged, and get married, but they would eventually start to have issues, which could lead them to getting a divorce. Let's face it, even with Big and Kathy, Carrie and Aiden still had so many issues with their respective partners, even though it seems like Big was better for Carrie and Kathy was better for Aiden. Despite having partners that were more aligned with their values, they still ended up cheating on them with each other. But what about Natasha, our sweet little angel? Big said it himself. She's got her eye on a beige chair. Everything in my apartment is now beige. Beige is bullshit. I thought you wanted beige. Yeah, well, it doesn't quite fit. Whether or not Carrie is in the picture, Big was going to get bored of Natasha. It doesn't matter if that was going to happen in New York or Paris, it was going to happen anyways. Even with Carrie, who was, by Big's own definition, exciting and non-beige, he still had a wandering eye. In season 2, episode 9, Carrie had to put her foot down and tell Big to stop checking out other women. I hate that you look at other women. I hate that I don't have a key to your place. You've never spent the night at my place. You can't even make space for me in your bed, and it's not your fault because I never say it, so now I punched you, so now I have to say it, so now I'm gonna say it. I feel like I'm back in your life and nothing has really changed. I know you can't change a man, and you definitely can't change a man like you, but I still want something to change a little bit for me. Honestly, at this point in their relationship, they had already broken up in season 1, and now they're back together because they realized they missed each other. This is how Big has acted with Carrie. You know, the one he ends up rescuing in Paris and marries for 11 years. So how do you think Big treated Natasha behind closed doors? Someone he was bored of, someone he didn't respect in the slightest, and someone he cheated on for months. Natasha and Big weren't even dating for that long before they got engaged and married. They were dating for 5 months before they got married. Him and Carrie had been together off and on for 2 years, and that's how he treated her. It is seriously unfortunate for Natasha, but I'm afraid that even if Carrie was never in the picture and Big never even had contact with Carrie, and they stayed in Paris, far away from New York, they still would have ended up divorced. Big still would have cheated on Natasha. It just would have been with a different person, a random model, or maybe one of her friends. I guess the difference would be that if Big and Natasha stayed in Paris, she could move back to New York and hopefully never run into the mistress, which would potentially save her some stress. It must have been really stressful and frustrating to constantly run into Carrie after everything went down. Although Big and Natasha still wouldn't have worked out, in my opinion, I think it would at least allow Natasha to have a cleaner break and move on with her life a little bit better. And what happens to Big after all of this? What if Big and Natasha get married and divorced in Paris and he decides to move back to New York? He calls up Carrie because he just cannot keep himself away from her, and she informs him that she's married and has been for months. I think this would be another possible downfall for Carrie and Aiden, because I can't seriously say that Carrie wouldn't cheat on Aiden if they got married. I mean, why not? She cheated on Big with Aiden when they got married. What's the difference? Maybe after all of this, the show has a sort of message. Time and distance really didn't matter, and if two people wanted to be together that badly, they would find a way to do so, even if that meant accidentally running into each other in Abu Dhabi or running into each other in a random hotel in Paris. This honestly ties in with the sort of love that Carrie is looking for and has always looked for. In the very last episode, season 6, episode 20, I'm looking for love. Real love. Ridiculous, inconvenient, consuming, can't live without each other love. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Did Carrie and Aiden ever have a chance of working out? Did Big and Natasha? Is there a universe where these couples ever work out? Let me know in the comments, and if you have a suggestion for the next video, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time.